right, you said ASPACAPC a few minutes ago, but I think we're into it now. So are you ready anytime?
I am ready. Let's rock.
Let's rock. Let's rock. This is there's a song uh on for the 13th episode of the second season of the Bloodcast Scarable with George Shooter Nolan.
Let's
Uh,
rock.
how you doing? How you doing, George? I'm sitting on the floor again. That's pretty cool, right, George? All right, George is a little gassy now, so he didn't want to talk, I guess. So so he'll just sit and stare at me, I guess, while I sit here on the ground. Isn't that the way? Isn't that the way of all of it? Uh, George, you just gonna sit there looking like a fool?
Hello.
Well, so finally, you were in a trance.
Yes, I was just yep, every episode I meditate for a few days.
Well, yeah, but
Usually I snap out of it when it's time to right when we hit record,
yeah,
but I wasn't so lucky this time.
no, clearly, you're just staring at me with your bloodlust, your cruel eyes.
Yeah, but I'm here. I'm back now. So
Well, I'll
how's it going, listeners?
keep your head in the
Let's
game.
rock.
Let's rock, George. How you doing, George? Apart from uh, shamefully sending your mind off into distant places.
I am relaxed and refreshed. I'm
Okay,
ready to put in another 8 hours of work today.
that's nice. That's nice. Any keen shout outs you wish to perform?
Melbourne, Florida.
Oh, Melbourne, Florida. What do they say there?
Well, they say there, I don't know what they say, but I know that they're the hometown of Jim Morrison, famous rock singer.
Oh yeah, yeah.
He said a lot of stuff.
Don't you know that I am not afraid? What was that promise that you made?
Yeah,
You know, it's
it sounds more like you're doing it more like a funeral drone or something,
yeah, yeah.
like
The
a
whole
march,
I
like a death
perform that
march.
at funerals. I perform that exact thing at funerals all the time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Well, speaking of funerals,
yeah.
I hear that people play our podcasts during funerals or listen to our podcast during funerals.
Oh, it's
We're like the
hopeful.
sound, yeah, we're the soundtrack to people's lives.
Well, if
Yeah.
there has ever been a better indicator of an afterlife and a reward for all the hardships of life, it is certainly this podcast. You know,
Well, it's like it's mostly for the living though. It helps the living cope with
as far as we
loss.
know, you know,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be offended. Yeah, the biggest defense, I think, not defense, offense of having the dead listen to the podcast, all our ghosty friends would be that they're not plugged into the consumer economy and wouldn't be as enthralled by ads, which is why anybody does anything.
Who's to say that there's not a consumer economy in the afterlife?
Hope, yeah, I hope not.
Yeah, wouldn't it be like funny if like so like in the 30s, like during the stock market crash, people jumped out of windows because they lost all their money.
Oh yeah.
And then like when they wake up and they're in the afterlife, they still have to like they're still broke as hell.
Well,
It's
it's like that movie Wrist Cutters, where the guy killed himself, and it's just like the real world, but dirtier, and nobody smiles.
Yeah, it sounds like a lateral move at best.
It was not a lateral move. It was worse.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, did
Have you
he
seen
end up going
Wristcutters?
to heaven at the end, or what
No.
happened
Well,
to him?
uh, they oh, let's see. Spoilers for Wristcutters ahead. It's a fun movie. Uh, are you sure you want me to tell you how the movie ends?
Sure. I think I've seen it before.
Oh, well, if you've seen it before, and for those who haven't, spoilers ahead for the Oscar-winning film Wristcutters. But
It's a love story.
it's a love story. Wristkutter's a love story, and dude, and he meets he meets Dudette, and they both decide that they don't belong there. And so they do a grand search to petition those in charge to recognize that they don't belong in the suicide purgatory, and they are brought back to life. And it is inferred toward the end that they remember it all, and remember each other, and it truly is a love story for the ages.
No, it's a love story for the ages.
Well,
There was that movie with Robin Williams.
the Birdcage.
Of no, no, of what dreams may come.
Oh, I like that. It was so sappy that it was almost bad in places, but it had really a couple of the all-time great actors in it.
Oh,
Uh,
Cuba Gooding Jr. Yep.
Cuba Gooding Jr. and Robin Williams are both really, really good. And oh no, they had another fellow too. Who was that fellow who played the elder priest in The Exorcist? He's
Oh yes, Matt. Like I think it's like I know it's a German guy,
yeah,
Max
he's good
von
at
Sydow.
yeah. He's good in about everything. I think they had let's see, the woman who played the love interest, Robin Williams' wife in the movie. She's always pretty good, but she's not as well known, at least as far as I can think. Do you know
Helena Bonham Carter, was it?
No, no, no. I mean, I like seeing her and stuff, but that was not her. It was uh trying to think of something else that she's been in, because I definitely seen her before. She seems like she probably had a run in romantic comedies.
Teo Leone.
I don't think so. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not the biggest source of celebrity news, but she
Jessica Brooks Grant.
could be. But
Well, I'm looking it up on the internet right now.
this is more of your fantastic meditation. Get your head out of the clouds.
Oh yeah, no, it's the Google chip. Yes, yes.
He's got a famous psychic meditation that may or may not be caused by his elective Google implant. Uh, you know, I don't have one of those. I live in the dirt.
Well, I'm getting a revelation. She was in Cry Baby Lane.
I
She
haven't
was
seen
also
it.
Bed of Roses, The
Uh,
Emperor's Club.
no.
I think from what I can gather, What Dreams May Come may be the her peak movie.
She seems familiar. I can see her face in my head, and she seems like somebody who had a good run. Maybe I'm mistaken on that.
Oh, she does look familiar,
She
but
looks very familiar. Maybe she was in a TV show, or
Third Watch for 3 episodes.
yeah, no, probably not that.
No, no, she has like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 credits in total.
That's hard to believe. Was she
Yeah.
in? That's very interesting. That is very interesting. I feel as if I know her from somewhere. But Dreams May Come is a very good movie. I mean, no, I'll say that I really like it because, like I said, it seemed to be so schmaltzy at points that it almost was bad, but it was still really good. And maybe it made enough of an impression on me that I just am familiar with her face.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think there's like plenty of actresses who kind of have a similar look.
Well, I mean, I get that. She does look like other actresses, but she looks especially like her. I can see her face
Yeah.
um, in my mind's eye, that the eye of the mind.
Mm. I don't know. She's kind of like the Bill Pullman, or like was it Bob Pullman or Bill Paxton of female actresses.
I I can't speak to that. I can't place either of those people either.
Mm. Yeah, that's exactly why I think she's the Bill Pullman of acting.
All right. I mean, that's fine. That's
Well,
the Bill Pullman of acting, everybody. Uh,
Bill Pullman is actually the Bill Pullman of acting anyway, because he is an actor. I mean,
what was
Bill
Bill
Pullman of
Pullman?
actressing.
What was Bill Pullman
I think
in?
he was in Spaceballs.
What part did he play in Spaceballs?
He was he was like the Luke Skywalker guy.
Yeah. That guy was all over the place.
Yeah, but he just has like a generic look, you know, he's not a very distinctive looking guy.
Well, there's a couple of people who look kind of like him, and you could just sort of see just sort of by the quality of voice and appearance, a couple that would kind of fit into that role.
Oh yeah. I think they used to say Jeff Daniels was like one of those guys.
I could see that. I could see that.
Yeah.
You know, he lost, as I understand it, he had a difficult time getting back to his same level of popularity after he did that diarrhea scene in Dumb and Dumber. But
Oh yeah.
I don't know why that should count so much against him, as if everybody uh, should be geared to want to have sex with the Dumb and Dumber guys, as if like doing something as unattractive as going to the bathroom just sort of ruined the fantasy, because before that point, you know, those guys in the Dumb and Dumber movies, they were just really bringing it, making the audience swelter.
Well, yeah, ladies love a real dumb guy. They're more animalistic.
I don't know. I mean, that they're driving around with snot on their face. They're everything they do is obnoxious. I don't know if like you're being facetious. I just
No, I mean, like, you know, they obviously they're so dumb. They have like lots of confidence in everything they do, and confidence is like the number one trait women like. You know.
you know it's a good movie. I liked the movie. I if I just don't understand how that would be the you know uh anyway, that's a bit of Hollywood trivia for you from the that's the entertainment news.
Yep. Well, this podcast is basically Entertainment Tonight, but
Oh
the
yeah,
audio version,
yeah.
yes.
Oh yeah, we do all the Hollywood, all the Hollywood stars, just like in oh, here's some Hollywood stars, star-crossed stars for you. Uh, I will occasionally come across a disc, a CD, or uh, movie or video game disc that won't work, and so I procured a disc resurfacer. And one of the things that I got, I just picked this up secondhand. I thought I'd be able to flip it, but I didn't realize how low value movies tend to be. Like, always when I'm buying a movie, they're expensive, but when I want to sell one, they're only worth a few cents, less than $1. And so I'm going to keep it. And this will be my film for the night. It's the Brothers Grimm with two well-known Hollywood guys. Are you familiar
Was it
with the
Matt
Brothers?
Damon?
I think it is. I think it's Matt Damon and Heath Ledger. That's going to be my film. I'm going to prepare some rice in my rice cooker, unflavored. You know, uh,
Unflavored rice, huh?
I'm gonna gently spritz it with some water for flavor, and I'm gonna sit down and watch.
Hey, well, I got a, I got. This is for the listeners out there who are making rice. Pro tip is you boil the rice with bay leaf. Adds a little something extra.
I'm gonna sit down with unflavored white rice and watch 2 hours of bad action movie where Matt Damon and I forgot all the Hollywood names.
Heath Ledger or Hugh Jackman.
Heath Ledger, I think, played the Brothers Grimm fighting for survival in a magical fairyland.
I heard that was actually a good movie.
It's well, maybe it is. Maybe it's the best movie. Maybe it's really good. Action.
Yeah,
Fun.
I never saw it because it didn't look that appealing to me. It looked so dreary and like it looked like it had CGI in it.
Oh yeah. Have you seen the trailer for the new Avatar movie?
No.
I remember when the other one came out, and it was all just like stupid grandstanding speeches. There was a period of time, and we might still be in it, when people really get off in seeing huge grandstanding inspirational speeches in the movies, because a couple of them did it really well, but then everything had to be just making my heart flutter and a tear to my eye, and we are all, this is Sparta, and we're the guys that are going to stand against the guys, and it just made me want to cry and pound my chest at the same time. So I was kind of underwhelmed by Avatar. I mean, it's fun, but it had that CGI where everything looked really slick and wet, like realistic. And the new one looks just like that. It just looks like everything is shiny and wet.
Oh, maybe CGI would be best suited for what was it, underwater movies.
Yeah, if everything is shiny and wet, realistic CGI seems to work pretty well. It looks good. It just looks shiny and wet. You what?
Yeah, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Oh, I was looking it up. Brothers Grimm was directed by Terry Gilliam.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what was like. So when I found that out about it, that's what surprised me because it didn't seem like it would be a Terry Gilliam movie.
That is surprising. My outlook's kind of switched on it. Brazil, the director cut of Brazil is one of my favorite movies of all time, and I tend to enjoy Terry Gilliam movies. In fact, the only one that I'm not sure that I enjoyed, and I think he directed it, was that Jabberwocky movie, and that's not because it was bad. I just remember that I was tired and I fell asleep. So, high praise for Terry Gilliam movies. I tend to like them.
Yeah, I mean, Brothers Grimm looked like it would be done by the guy who did something like Underworld or something.
All right. Well, you put my hopes high up. Yeah, I was expecting what I expected is that noise that used to be cool in the 90s, but now it's in every damn trailer. You know how everything has that.
I think so. I think I know what you're talking about.
So sort of the sound. It's similar to that DHX or whatever it is, the beginning of the movie tells you about how the dulcy sound thingy is, and and everything's got the big noise, and then maybe you'll put in some sort of a pop tune from the 70s, but it sounds like it's playing through a blown out speaker through the distance, and these big shiny CGI monsters and fight with the swords, and everybody's doing these unrealistic flips, and Legolas goes down the staircase riding on a shield, and the dwarves are doing backflips.
Yeah, sounds like utter crap.
Well, that's the thing now. The toasters transforming into Megatron. People like that sort of thing.
Well, I'm people. I don't like it.
Well, maybe you'd like it if you gave it a chance.
I gave it a chance. It failed.
I don't know. I
I
watched.
want a movie where it's just two people at dinner, with barely any conversation. It's the ideal movie. It's those Andy Warhol movies where he just takes like a static shot of like a building or something for 8 hours.
I'm not sure I've seen any of Andy Warhol's movies.
I've seen what was it, Andy Warhol's Frankenstein and Dracula.
Oh, really? Is that any good?
Yeah, they're okay. I mean, it's Andy Warhol's definitely not a he's no Francis Ford Coppola.
Oh, who it is? Well, speaking of Francis Ford Coppola, I think we need to take a little break, but we'll be back shortly. Go pop some popcorn, y'all, because this is gonna get good.
Okay.
All right. So you were talking. Hello again, friends. Esseintes on the floor. George Shooter Nolan, up there on the chair.
Let's rock.
Let's rock. So you were saying, George?
Oh, I don't know. I was saying I was talking about video games.
Oh, are you a big video game guy? The video game guy?
No, I do not like video games at all, man. This
Big
is like an
fan of video
anti-video game podcast.
He's just saying that, folks. He's always playing a video game. He sends me pictures, talks about all the hidden gems. This is the video game #1 fan, super fan.
I've never even heard of video games.
You've been playing anything good lately, George?
No, I've not heard of video games. It's a foreign concept.
Well, I've been playing Zero
Zero.
4 Champ RR for the Super Famicom over on Twitch, but I haven't played for a few days.
I actually was playing a video game. I was too ashamed to admit it.
Yeah. You're what we call a self-hating gamer. Don't hate it, George. Just embrace it. Fall into it and let it envelop you in its gamey goodness.
Yeah, but there's an aspect of video games I dislike.
I don't believe that.
Yeah, it's story. Mainly, it's cutscenes. I hate cutscenes. I think if you're making a video game and you can't tell the story through gameplay and you have to use cutscenes, you failed.
Yeah, there was. Let's see. I think that really hit hard with Metal Gear Solid, and then later, wasn't it Resident Evil games where they became really heavy. Like doesn't don't the Metal Gear series games tend to have like hours of video in the thing?
I wouldn't be surprised, but I haven't played a Metal Gear Solid game.
Oh yeah, it's something I'd like to get into. I don't mind really anything that is good enough to keep me engaged with it. I'm up for that. But some of my favorite games won't have. Well, no, it's like like one thing that I'll go back to is Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine on the Sega Genesis. Are you familiar with the Puyo Puyo port of
Oh
Mean?
yes, I have. I've
Yeah,
played that game.
yeah. They do have a story. Like if you if you let it sit on the start menu, it'll start talking about Dr. Robotnik's war against the innocent bean people. But
Yeah,
I mean, you don't have to do that. But back in the console days, it was mostly unless you're playing an RPG, it was just done. Occasionally there'd be little statements or things that you could pick up.
yeah.
Action games.
I mean, that's the ideal of a story, I'd say, in my
Yeah.
opinion. What illustrates my point?
So
Sega CD, 3DO. Those games were like, this is like when they were like when they got when the video game people got the new hardware. It's like, all right, we got all the space, we can like actually make stories will be the next movies, right? And they came out all these crappy ass games where it's like all FMV video, it's all like video cutscenes and stuff, and nobody played them.
well they
It's kind of getting to that point too today, where we have like, these video game people be like, we want to be like movies too, and they want to make like cinematic stories, and they want to like have it like be like an epic saga. But like, who cares about like a video game story? You're not playing the video game for the story, you're playing to have fun, like for the gameplay.
I'm kind of two minds. One, I think certainly modern video games have become a little samey, and the for-profit model, which took it to a point, has gotten it to the point where now to get the finished game, you have to pay for a little thing, and they've found what works, and so it's all the exact same things, and you're finding more interesting content coming from indie developers. Nintendo is still pretty good on a lot of things, but they are weakened by the for-profit model. My understanding is that some of the what's it? So you've got your Smash Bros. And Mario Kart and Mario Party, and the modern iterations of these are weaker than the older ones because it's more about the new things that you can buy and add to it, and so it cheapens something that very competently focuses on core gameplay. It cheapens it by releasing part of the game and then just constantly forcing you to buy new parts of the same game. That really aggravates me.
Oh, have you heard of Street Fighter X Tekken?
I don't think so. I didn't know they had Street Fighter fighting Tekken game.
Yeah, they had a crossover. They had like one of the most infamous instances of like trying to screw over the customer. They released a completed game, so it had all on the disc, had all the characters and stuff, but half of the characters were blocked, and you'd have to pay on the online store to actually unlock the characters that came already on your disc.
That's I, so fighting games generally do that. At least your
Yeah.
big party fighting games where they'll hide stages and characters, and you have to just buy them separately. That's it. Just do the thing and do it well. I don't know that like loot boxes and DLC and all that stuff. I'm fine waiting. I don't like microtransactions, or just all the little things to just release it, do a solid job. But like specifically cinematic games, I think Sega CD, especially some of the Japanese games that were more heavy in story, uh, they'd go off on a little anime video that would be fun, or like Snatcher it's a different type of game. It's more point and click, where it's more story centric. Or the I think another Hideo Kojima like Snatcher that never made it out it's like Cyber Patrol or Cyber Police or something like that, that's supposed to be excellent. I'm not against cinematic games, but when everything seems to be that, it gets pretty obnoxious.
Yeah.
Like I played through Silent Hill for the first time a few years ago, and I thought the story stuff absolutely helped it. In fact, at least for the first Silent Hill game, the gameplay was kind of obnoxious, but the whole thing really worked. So I'm not like all in one boat, but if you just want to play something that is just pure gameplay, I mean, you do have a lot of options, old and new, and it is obnoxious when it's all that. But I'm okay with it. It just sort of depends on what it is.
Yeah. You know what? I got to compromise. I'll be okay with video games with cutscenes if they allow me to skip. Like half the time you can't even skip the cutscenes. So if
Oh
you can
yeah.
skip the cutscenes, that would make things a lot, better.
Well, if you're I don't know, just sort of running through the motions while you're paying attention to something else, and you like being occupied with the tasks of video gaming, uh absolutely. Like sometimes I'll listen to some YouTube stuff. I've been listening to these awful stories, not in production quality, but just awful occurrences by a YouTuber called Shrouded Hand. And I've been playing Wind Waker, and I'm just sort of zipping through and doing the things uh, while listening to these stories about horrible human action. Uh, it would not be like, I would not be able to like listen to an audiobook or a podcast or YouTube if I'm playing one of the modern action games, where it's more about the character than about how you play the game.
I'm playing Red Dead Redemption 2. And I think it's one of those games, and I always listen to podcasts when I'm playing it.
Yeah.
And that's what actually got me so upset is the cutscenes in that game. That's what kind of inspired my little outburst.
It might not be your kind of game.
I know, I actually had fun with it. I'm actually having fun with it. It's just it's just too much story. I don't really care about the characters. I
I
just want to
haven't.
go around hunting, deer and stuff.
Yeah, I haven't played that game. Uh, if you so what Forcing you to watch the cutscenes, are you finding that it has information in the cutscenes that would make it difficult for you to perform if you weren't watching the cutscenes?
No,
Okay.
it's all story stuff.
Okay. Well, whatever. I know the Grand Theft Auto games are kind of good for both of those. If you want to get immersed in the story, or if you just want to dick around, um, it's you can take either path pretty well. I think you'd have to get through a certain amount of the story first before you wanted to get before
Yeah,
you were able to get all the areas and stuff unlocked, though.
yeah, it's Red Dead Redemption 2 is pretty much like that.
Yeah. I bet it'd turn into the exact game that you seem to want to play after you've already beaten it. The after
Yeah,
game stuff.
most likely. Well, yeah, I have fun doing the missions. I just want to do the missions
Yeah.
without this, the cutscenes.
Yeah, a lot of those will have regular just sort of randomized missions that they push out, like I think Skyrim was like that, where some things would just sort of send you to do a thing after you'd gotten through all the stuff.
Oh yeah.
I think so, but it's not mostly like that. No, I have you played Skyrim?
Yes, I have.
Okay, yeah. Don't some of the little factions send you out to do these little randomized missions after you've beaten the game?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure what I'm gonna go on to next. There's a sequel to Wind Waker on the DS. I forget the name of it. I think it's Phantom Hourglass. And I might go to that, but I'm not usually too big into handheld games. Uh, you know what's a good one is I picked up one in the series of Shiren the Wanderer, and I played Shiren the Wanderer on the Super Famicom, and I really liked it.
What is it? Some sort of RPG?
It's it's a what do you call it? Well, it's a dungeon crawler. It's a randomized dungeon crawler.
Roguelike.
Roguelike, thank you. And it has RPG elements, but you're not really upgrading the character. And there's a story, but the story is like you meet some quirky characters, you go on specific missions, and you've got a thing that you are trying to get to at the end. But that's sort of where the RPG elements stop. You can upgrade weapons, but you cannot upgrade yourself really. Weapons and armor you could upgrade like shield, but after you die, you lose all that stuff. So to get it back, you'd have to store it someplace. You'd have to upgrade it, store it someplace, and then get back to it.
Yeah, sounds like a boatload of fun.
Yeah, well, no, it's great. The gameplay was fun. Figuring out how to do different battle mechanics was good. Uh, the music was very pleasant. And I got into kind of a looping mode where once you find a place to store like a sword, you can just sort of loop with it, and I think you can send it back, and you can end up like overpowering yourself and then seeing the rest of the game. That's the kind of thing you figure out with. But I've got another in the series for the Switch, so I might go with that. I don't know.
Have you ever played this game called High Glide?
I've heard
High
of
Glide.
it. I think
Uh,
I think both GameSack and the Angry Video Game Nerd have done stuff on that series. I know they got I know it's like an NES title that was remade for Sega CD or something, and the Sega CD one is supposed to be horrendous.
yeah, I had the NES one
Is
as
that
a
any
kid.
good? I can't remember the thoughts on that
No, I
one.
couldn't even figure it out.
Huh,
I think I just kept on dying in a maze by some sort of like gel, not a gel, like a bubble.
yeah.
Some bubble kept on killing me, and yeah, I've only played it like tried to play it for 10 minutes at a time, and just gave up
Well, there's
because it's just so confusing.
yeah. What's that one for the NES where you're like put forward in time, and it's supposed to be kind of like an action game, and some of this, like there's a giant bug that looks sort of like the Ohm from Nausicaa Valley of the Wind, and then there's that floating island and stuff.
Crystallis.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised that you got it from there.
Oh yeah,
I picked it.
it was just a guess.
Oh, it's a good guess because all that stuff is in it. But I played through Crystallis, and from what I've been hearing about it, I thought it was actually a little bit overrated. It's probably going to piss some people off, but um, like I like the. Have you played Crystallis?
Yeah, I played a bit of it.
Okay, what do you think?
It was pretty good. I think at a certain point though, it just didn't hold my interest.
Yeah, you do a lot of grinding to get anywhere, and the hit detection is incredibly poor, and then it's got that same tune that loops, which is pleasant for a minute, but it just keeps going, and it's too short. Um, and there has to be a lot to keep me in a game that forces you to grind like that. Um, it just it just got to be. I mean, I finished it, and there were things that I appreciated it, but I wasn't. I thought it was just sort of a bit overrated.
Hey man, that happens,
Oh yeah,
Yeah, but you know what was an underrated game?
Uh,
Super Mario Brothers 3.
is it?
I
Is
think
that
so. I don't think it
underrated?
gets quite. Yeah, I'd say it doesn't get quite enough credit.
I mean, I thought it was renowned as like recognized as one of the best games made.
Yeah. Well, it should get even more recognition.
Oh,
And to
all right.
think they did it without like so many cutscenes.
But yeah, well, I mean, what would you say? It's all nonsense. Those games. I
Yeah.
I
That's a
actually like.
story.
Well, I mean, it's got a basic story. I actually
I think
like
that's the ideal amount of story in the
where
video game.
like it just tells you that these are the bad guys and you're the good guy and you're trying to kill the bad guys and save the princess.
Pretty much, yeah.
I mean, sometimes that's all you need. I like Super Mario World probably better than that on the SNES.
That's a good one.
It's a very good one, and I know those ones are like Super Mario World really bit off of that one, but I kind of like the feel of the Super Nintendo better.
Oh yeah. I think what I like about the Super Nintendo, I mean the regular Nintendo one is only two buttons. I like the simplicity.
I think you're better with what was that? So yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm including the D-pad as one button, I guess. I think it just fits so comfortably in the hand, and then I know how the NES, it's got that thing where you got it goes AB, not BA, right?
I think it's BA,
BA. Well,
but
you got
I'm
your
not sure.
you got your the tip of your thumb on the leftmost uh uh action button, and then you can just without moving your thumb back and forth, you're just sort of pressing one part of your thumb or the other to get and the NES worked really well like that, but the SNES does the same thing, but just you know better, more buttons. It's great.
Uh, there should be a game with only one button. I think I was telling you about this. Like this is like I own a company. It's called Cutscene Entertainment. We
uh
develop video games. We're actually developing a video game right now. It's supposed to revolutionize the video game industry.
all right, tell me about it.
It's a video game, but
Ah,
it's one. You only use one button.
like Flappy
No
Bird.
D-pad, no D-pad or anything like that. Just the one button.
Yeah, it's they like some of those lame phone games will do just that. You just tap the screen.
Oh yeah. Well, I guess it's kind of like that, but except it's a grand epic story. It's a grand epic game. We're going all out on graphics and all that stuff. And the way the gameplay works is basically it's a timing game, right?
Oh
So
no.
yeah, it's basically yeah, it's not like it's you if you hit the button at the right time, the successful action occurs. If you press it too late, it's a failure. Press it too early, it's a failure. But it's like any other game except it's
Uh,
bigger in scope. and you only use one button.
That I wouldn't be surprised if that didn't already exist. I don't. I'm not bothered by the little timing buttons. I forget what you call it. Like they did it to pretty good effect in. I think they did a lot in Dante's Inferno or something.
Hmm.
Maybe
My
not, but
fun fact: my
yeah.
hairdresser, his name is Dante Inferno.
Oh well,
Yeah.
that's a good name. I wish that was my name, Dante Inferno.
Yeah.
That's lovely. Uh, I
You're a
don't
real
know.
interesting guy. Yeah.
Well, tell us about Dante Inferno.
Well, actually, he doesn't like it when people talk about him. He's very protective of his honor. You know.
I think
He,
that might be like marketing strategy. He probably just
oh,
wants us to talk about him more now.
yeah. You know. So what was it? He doesn't want the right. He doesn't. He feels offended at the notion that someone that there might be someone who's like unfashionable who knows who he is. He only wants the right kind of people to talk about him. You know.
Well,
Or to know about him, or
I
to
mean,
think
look
of
at
him.
us. We're obviously the right kind of people.
Yeah, you got yourself like it was like a pink mohawk.
Me?
Yeah, you got like a pink mohawk, and you're wearing like a latex tank top
I mean, that's not exactly how I would describe my outfit, but
and like fur pants.
I do like to think that I'm sort of a fashion trendsetter. But that is not quite how I would identify my outfit.
Well, it's like a like the pants. They look like you're wearing like goat legs or something. You have like giant goat legs on, kind
Well,
of like a satyr, like a satyr. Yeah, you kind of look like a demented satyr.
well,
Those pants.
I get that a lot. But yeah, it's just I don't skip leg day.
Oh yeah.
It just pops
Well,
them out.
actually, you know, he's probably talking about for the listeners, he's talking about exercise, but when it
Yeah.
comes to like covering his legs, he skips leg day quite a lot. Quite often, he'll walk that around the studio pantsless,
uh,
no underwear.
excuse
Yeah,
me, excuse me.
it's
You,
it's very and I asked him to put his
uh,
pants on. It's like you're creating a hostile work environment.
all right.
And
A
you're saying, and you
couple
keep
of
on
things.
telling me
it's
it's the new look. You're trying the new look, you know.
it's yeah. All right, all right. So I live here. All right.
I mean, it is your home,
In
you
my
know.
own home, I don't have to wear pants, but if someone else is
Yeah.
here, I will wear pants, even if that is the only time that I am statistically likely to wear pants when somebody else is here. This hullabaloo that I'm showing off and making a fashion statement. This is just demonstrably untrue. Um, well,
I remember a whole bunch of us had to hold you back from like leaving the house because you wanted to show off your new look at Fashion Week.
uh,
I think
uh,
we yeah, I remember with us like covering you with a blanket.
oh bother.
Oh.
On that note, that web of lies. Do you have any shout outs, George? I've got to go prepare some delicious plain white rice with
Uh,
sprinkled water atop.
well, as I said earlier, for our listeners, a pro tip for rice is to put a couple bay leaves in the water while you're boiling the rice. Kind of add something extra, adds a nice depth of flavor to rice.
Yeah.
Uh, as for shout outs, I'd like to shout out a human being actually.
Oh, thank you. I am honored.
No, Michael Richards,
Oh, Michael Richards, the fellow
the
who
actor.
played Kramer.
Yep, he's he was a great actor. He should be worth $1 billion with how creative an actor he is. He's not given enough credit.
Well, he kind of played the one role.
To
Was
perfection.
was he in anything else?
Yeah, UHF. He played Stanley Spadowski. He was the
Yeah.
janitor.
I haven't watched UHF, but I mean to at some point.
He was really good in that.
All right. Well,
He, you know,
Michael Richards, hope you're well wherever you are.
yeah. So actually, you know what? I'll shout out his hometown, Culver City, California.
All right. Well, you Culver, you keep an eye out. You might see Michael Richards at your local bakery.
Yeah, I heard Culver City. It's has a buzzing dining and nightlife scene. So
Yeah. I'm all for Culver. Way to go, guys. I hope all is roses in Culver City, California.
third most diverse school district in California as of 2020.
Well, good for you guys.
So, but yeah, I'm pretty sure there's some good people out there.
Oh yeah.
Even though there's a lot of show business out there.
Well, there's
The people
no
not in show
business like
business,
show
I'm sure
business.
they're good people.
As someone who is very much in show business, and this podcast terrible, a show for all the friends. I have to disagree. Some of us showbiz types are real swell fellas.
I'm actually a showbiz type myself. I say all this out of jealousy.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah. Well, we're allowed to say it because we're in show business,
yeah, we
and
got showbiz privilege.
yeah, we and we're just horrible people. Uh,
Yeah.
uh, well, that was very nice. I'm gonna go uh make some rice. So thank you for joining us, one and all. Thank you, George.
Well, let's rock.
Let's rock, you guys.